This prison has 1,000 guards, yet it holds only one prisoner. Even so, that prisoner is still planning his escape. On the first day, he digs a tunnel and crawls into the sewer, but he is caught red-handed by the guards. So the authorities lock him in a solid steel cell, a meter thick, and assign someone to watch him 24 hours a day. On the very day he is placed there, Lupin tries to sabotage the surveillance camera. The guard on duty rushes to the cell to check, but little does he know, this is exactly what Lupin had planned. Unfortunately, the experienced officer still sees through his trick. Later, Lupin disguises himself as a priest praying for the prisoners, trying once again to escape, but he is captured by the officer along the way. Considering the prison's security measures are still somewhat lacking, the police bind Lupin with hundreds of chains and transport him to a deserted island, where the officer who has pursued him for most of his life is assigned to guard him. A year passes, and Lupin's companions have never once attempted a rescue. Before long, Lupin's spirit is on the verge of breaking. He would rather starve to death than eat the food the officer brings him. Soon, Lupin collapses from malnutrition. The officer, alarmed by the sight, grabs his keys in a panic, ready to open the door and save him. But the next moment, he stops himself, because he realizes this might be a trick. After calming down, he becomes even more convinced of his suspicion. Yet, a few days later, Lupin actually starves to death in his cell. Seeing this, the officer can no longer contain his emotions. He quickly unlocks the door, but as he approaches Lupin's body, he realizes he has been deceived once again. The figure before him gradually relaxes, finally turning into a flat painting. It turns out Lupin had long prepared this three-dimensional painting for his escape. He used leftover food as paint, his own hair as a brush, and while the officer slept, he painted his own portrait. His reasoning, after discovering the prisoner dead, the officer would surely open the door. After explaining all his plans, Lupin happily locks the officer inside the cell. But the next moment, the officer reveals a twisted smile. He feels proud of Lupin. A thief who never gives up is worthy of a lifetime of pursuit.